Okay, this week we started System of Linear Equations, Chapter 3, and yesterday we started Substitution Methods. The procedure is this: step number 1, 2, 3. This is step number 1, 2, and 3 is to find the solution. 4 and 5 is to check. Step number 1 is the one we worked on yesterday's quiz. Okay, and there is a question here, Cynthia. So all the questions from today is the answer to yesterday's. That's right, Cynthia. The first equation for today, for each question, is the answer for yesterday. Yes. And then you can submit yesterday's quiz with the answers that are shown on today's quiz. And so yesterday, as I was saying, we work on step number 1. Step number 1 is to isolate one of the variables from one equation. So we did this yesterday. We isolated y, we've chosen y, to isolate y, and we wrote the equation using the slope-intersect form, something that we learned to do before, and then we wrote each equation that was in a different form. We wrote like y equals mx plus b. This is kind of helps on step number 1, because you have to isolate one of the variables, and this way we isolated y. We found y for each one of the system of equations from yesterday's quiz. Today we will work on step number 2, and step number 2 is to substitute the quantity found yesterday on step number 1 into the other equation, the next equation, the second equation. This is what we're going to do today, step number 2. And after today, tomorrow, we will work on step number 3, is to solve the resulting equation and find x and y, if the equation have one intersection, one point, or you're going to find if there's no solution, if there's infinite solution, it depending on the case. So today let's focus on this, step number 2, right? Step number 2. And to understand, let's work on the next slide with an example. We have this example here, using the substitution method, solve a system of linear equations. And I will work out the whole thing, step number 1, 2, and 3, okay, for this system of equations. This equation here is going to be equation number 1, and the next one, this one is equation number 2, okay, so we have equation number 1 and equation number 2. For equation number 1, we will apply step 1. What is step 1? Remember from yesterday? Step 1, let's read here the procedure. Step 1, isolate one of the variables from one equation. So isolate one of the variables. I'm going to choose to isolate y. Let's isolate y. So the equation is 6x plus y equals 6. To isolate y, we're going to get rid of everything on the left-hand side, move to the right-hand side, and keep only y on the left-hand side. So get rid of this 6x by subtracting 6x on both sides of the equation. So we will get rid of this 6x here. And then we will have on the left-hand side only y, okay, because this is eliminated, it is simplified. And we're going to have the right-hand side, negative 6x plus 6. No problem, Julian. No problem. Don't forget to open your assignment. This is step number 1. This is step number 1 completed. Y equals 6x plus 6. Negative 6x plus 6, I mean. This is step number 1 completed. Now let's move on to step number 2. And step number 2. What is step number 2? Let's check here on the procedure. Step number 2 is to substitute the quantity found in step number 1 into the other equation. The other equation is the second equation here, equation number 2 in red. And let me write here the equation number 2. 3x minus 2y equals what? Equals negative 7. This is equation number 2. We're going to substitute this that we found on step number 1. We're going to substitute here on equation number 2. So let's do it. 3x, keep 3x, minus 2 times y, and y is this. This is y, see? Negative 6x minus 6. So negative 6x, negative 6x plus 6. Negative 6x plus 6 equals negative 7. Apply distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. So let's get rid of this parenthesis here. Applying distributive property. 3x minus negative 2 with negative 6x, positive 12x. And the next one, negative 2 times negative 6, negative 12, equals negative 7. And the last thing that we can do is to combine like terms. We have 3x and 12x. This will, if we combine, we're going to have 15x minus 12 equals negative 7. This is the end, this is the conclusion of step number 2. Okay, this is what we will work out on the quiz today to find the resulting equation for step number 2. Now for step number 3, this is something that we're going to see tomorrow, but let me give you a preview. Step number 3, we will find x. So let's say we have 15x. We have this equation here, 15x minus 12 equals negative 7, right? So we will solve and find x. Apply addition property, add 12 on both sides. 15x equals negative 7 plus 12, 5. That means x equals 5 divided by 15, 1 over 3. This, and then you're going to find y. You're going to apply 1 over 3 into the equation and find y. That is step number 3, a preview of step number 3 that we're going to work tomorrow. This is going to be tomorrow, okay? Today we will stop here on step number 2. Any questions so far? Any questions? That's what we will work on the quiz, and we will start. And Serenity is asking, I'm confused on how to write the answers. I will show on the quiz a few examples. Okay, Serenity, I can understand. The answer is going to look like this. It's going to have only x, no y, and sometimes going to have x on both sides. But I will show a few examples on the quiz, don't worry. Because after that, you're going to apply addition property, multiplication property, you're going to find the value of x. But here, you're just, the only thing that you're doing is simplifying and combining like terms. But don't worry, I'm going to show on the quiz. If we're good, I think we're ready to work on the quiz. I'm going to show a few examples on the quiz. But before moving to the quiz, let's try the bell work. Let's help for Jerry to buy a new sports car. He is deciding. He's between a Ferrari and a Porsche. The Ferrari and the Porsche together cost 190,000. There's a lot of money. The Ferrari is 100,000 more expensive than the Porsche. How much will Jerry spend if he chooses the Porsche? Now type your answers. Remember, if you read the question, there's an answer that's going to come to your mind. The clear answer might be the right answer, might be the wrong answer. I don't know yet. Check this. We can say the price of the Ferrari is going to be X, and the price of the Porsche, let's say, is Y. The question says the Ferrari and Porsche together, they cost 190,000. So X plus Y equals 190. And Ferrari is 100,000 more expensive. That means X minus Y equals 100. And if you check this is a system of equations. We can solve it. We can apply one of the methods that you're going to learn is the addition method. We can add both equations. Let's add together. Let's add X with X, 2X, positive Y minus Y, 0, equals 190 plus 100, 290. So we have 2x, 2 times the price of the Ferrari is 290. Divide by 2, x equals 145. This is the price of the Ferrari, $145,000. That means the price of the Porsche is going to be $45,000. And this makes a lot of sense. You know why? Because if the Ferrari is $145,000 and the Porsche is $45,000, the Ferrari is $100,000 more expensive than the Porsche. See? That's what means $100,000 more expensive than the Porsche. So the answer is $45,000. This is going to be the answer. We don't have a winner today. Only 90,000. This is the first number that comes to mind, right? You think when you read, the first number that comes to your mind is 90,000. It looks like a simple answer, but actually the right answer is $45,000. Okay, but the objective here is to get ready to work on the quiz, to warm up. The answer 45,000. Okay, don't forget. Let's move to the quiz. And let me clean everything. Let me clean this. Let me clean this up. Okay, and I will show you the first question letter A, and how to work this out. So we have here letter A. This is the answer for yesterday's quiz. The first equation, y equals negative 3x minus 1. So we isolated y, we found the value of y, and we will plug in the next equation. Plug in here. Substitute y by negative 3x plus 1. So let's substitute here. Negative 3x minus 1 equals x plus 3. And there are no more simplifications, no distributive property, no like terms. That's it. This is everything that we can do. That's all we can do for step number 2. This is going to be the answer for today's quiz. This is step number 2. And tomorrow, yeah, you know the answers, Kalia. And tomorrow we work on step number 3. Tomorrow you're going to find the answer. You're going to calculate x equals something, y equals something. This is going to be tomorrow. Okay? Today Easy, Cynthia. Yes, easy. Just stop here on step number 2. For letter A is easy, but check for instance for letter B. Letter B, you have 3y, and you have to plug in y here. You have to apply distributive property. You have to multiply 3 times this. See, it's not as easy as letter A. Letter C is kind of a bit more, not hard, but a bit more thing to do. You have to multiply by 2, and you have to combine like terms with negative 3x. So try to work by yourselves on the other letters, on the other questions, and in a few minutes we can work together, okay? We can check I can give you a feedback, and we can work together in any questions that you are stuck.